right. So here I am in Dorrance, Kansas. Am I going to talk about Dorrance? No, I don't know anything about Dorrance, Kansas. But I decided to pull over here and start this video because this video is going to be about the contrast and the differences between the Kawasaki Demo days and the Harley Demo days. I really wanted to make this video a while ago, but I just couldn't get it out. I didn't have the bike, and I hate doing talking head videos from behind my desk, so I decided to wait until I actually did have my bike and I was out on the road, and we could do that. And another reason why I wanted to pull over here to start this video is because as I was traipsing through Dorrance, I found this. How cool is that? POWMIA flag, American flag, front and center, all the national services flags, and the Kansas state flag off to the side, and an outline of every service member and all their branches. Those we honor. Man, I love small town patriotism, I really do. And honestly, I came here also looking for a place to pee because, yeah, that happens. Anyways, we'll talk to you later when I'm on the road. We get this going. I wanted to talk a little bit about the differences I noticed between the Kawasaki Demo days and the Harley Demo days. And unfortunately, the Harley Demo days was really cut short due to weather, but there were some stark contrast between the way Kawasaki does it, or the feeling of the Kawasaki Demo days versus the Harley Demo days. And I just kind of wanted to point some of that stuff out from my own personal experience now that I've got it. But first I want to point something out that's kind of interesting. This little back road that I'm on, this little 2-lane deal that I'm sitting on, this used to be the main east-west artery across Kansas before I-70, which is just right over there. I don't know if you can see it. I mean, I see that semi. I-70 is just right there, and I-70 replaced this road that I'm on right now. Just a fun fact. Not really relevant to anything except that fact I'm riding on it right now. Anyway, so when I rolled up to the Kawasaki Demo days, there was a decent crowd there, a lot of looky-loos, and they had the food vendor, and when you got off your bike and you walked over to the registration tent, you know, they had the standard instructions. You know, you gotta have a helmet. You know, you gotta have basic motorcycle gear. Can't be showing up in t-shirt, shorts, and sandals and expecting to get a demo ride. And then you fill out a questionnaire that says what bike you want, and then you look and see what time slot that bike is going to be available, or what group of bikes. And then you got to hand over your license, and they scan it, and that kind of stuff. Yeah, I am right next to I-70. And then they gave you a breathalyzer to make sure that you weren't showing up toasted, because that's a big no-no. And then you waited your turn for your time slot and the bike that you wanted to become open. And then what they did was they gave you a list of instructions verbally, and they asked people in that opening I don't know, speech that they had. They would ask you, you know, are you comfortable riding up front? Have you ridden in a group before? You know, where in the placement do you want to be? And I was thankful that they did that, because I've never ridden in a group at all prior to that. Or, you know, I've ridden a couple of times with one buddy. He doesn't ride anymore, so I pretty much just ride by myself. And so being in the mix of a whole bunch of people is rather unnerving to me, especially people I don't know. I said, told them, I said, I've got no experience group riding and I would prefer to be in the back. And they were like, no problem. And so when my time came up, of course, that's where I was placed. They just kind of waved each bike on and pointed to them and told whoever wanted to do what to come up to the staging line. And so that's how we were set up, and that's how we rode their loop. Harley didn't. Now that's I'll stop there and then I'll go into the Harley. Now Harley, very much the same thing. You rode in, and I'll say they had a much larger group of people that they were working with, even though the weather was really not beneficial. People in general are more interested in Harley than they are Kawasaki, and that's just a fact. That is just a fact. And so there's more people, people that already ride Harleys that are there wanting to see what other Harleys are going to be like. People that are really interested in this year's Road Glide and Street Glide models because of the massive updates they both got. And, people still wanting to see the other models as well. And, the process was very much the same. The only thing difference with the Harley thing was they sent you a notice saying don't come in drunk, but they didn't give you a breathalyzer. Kawasaki was the only one that actually had you blow into the tube. Harley doesn't. I guess they just trust that their people are going to show up and be nice. I wonder how far west I really want to go today. I should probably find a place to turn around and go home. I might end up in Colorado before too long. Oh, let's see what's this way. Where I get too sidetracked. I feel more comfortable heading south. I know that area of the state better than I do the north side. I'm a guy, I'm not going to open up maps. I'm just going to head south until I find a familiar road. Anyway. Where was I at? God, these roads are garbage. I feel like this is an adventure now. I'm definitely on roads I've never been on before. Okay, anyway, back to what I was doing. So Harley doesn't give you a breathalyzer. You show up to their tent and you do all the same stuff. You put your name down for the time slot and the bike that you want, and then you surrender your license. It gets scanned, the information gets collected, and you go from there. Those are the similarities. And of course they each have their own circuit that they're wanting to ride. And I will tell you that the Kawasaki circuit is a bit longer than the Harley circuit. I'm not sure why that is. Maybe that's just the route that's available to them. But I did appreciate the length of the Kawasaki circuit much more than I did the Harley circuit. It's like I didn't really get a good feel for the bike like I really wanted to. And I don't know if that's because of the circuit being shorter or just the way that we were rushed out of there because of the weather. I mean, the weather during the Kawasaki demo ride was absolutely beautiful. It was a day like this. It really was. And then, you know, whereas the Harley demo ride, you know, it was looming thunderstorms, tornado warnings all around us. You know, it was... the timing of it was just awful. I don't know why that Harley has to do it at that time of year. I don't know why they don't wait a couple of months, but you know, like today would have been an awesome demo ride day for Harley. I would have been all over that. But I think the biggest difference that I want to point out that struck out to me the most was the sense of community. I'm a bit of an isolationist in my own person, meaning I don't have a problem hanging with myself. I don't have a problem doing things by myself. I do like doing things with other people. Like I kind of wish I had a riding buddy, but at the same time, I'm not clamoring to have a riding buddy. I'm okay by myself. I like working by myself. I like having not a lot of people around me. I don't have, you know, like close friends, and I'm not out there trying to find them because I'm okay in my own space. And that's not for everybody, and that's fine. But, and I say all that to say this. In Kawasaki's demo day, you were definitely in your own space. There wasn't like this connected community feeling. There wasn't just people talking to each other. There was like a guy and a gal, you know, his girlfriend hanging out by themselves. There was another person by themselves. There was me, who was obviously by myself. And there wasn't this community feeling of, hey, let's talk, let's chat, let's get to know one another. And now I gave you all that preamble to say I'm okay with that. I guess I go north. I guess I go this way. And I'm okay with that too. That's why I like driving roads I've never been on before, because you're kind of like, okay, which way? It doesn't matter. Just pick a direction and go. Point your bike in a direction and you're on an adventure. Haha. So that was the Kawasaki. It really wasn't a community kind of feeling. There wasn't like this common bond, other than the fact that we were just there to ride motorcycles. Now, switch over to the Harley demo days. I get there, I get in line, and I don't know anybody at all. And suddenly, I have two dudes who are behind me somehow integrate me, little old me who's minding on my own business, into their conversation. And we're talking about fishing. And we're talking about, you know, and this guy's showing pictures on his phone of a fishing trip he just did the day before of these spoonbill fish and how big these things are, and they're huge. And we're just having a great old time. And of course, eventually comes out, what do you ride? And did you ride here today? And, you know, I say, no, my bike's on sick leave, but it's a Kawasaki Vulcan S. And they're like, oh, okay, that's cool. You know, like nobody cares, or at least in the group that I was with, nobody cared that I didn't ride a Harley. And I appreciated that. Gatekeeping is stupid. But, and then another guy showed up, and we started talking, and he's talking about how Harleys are slow. And I said, well, define slow. If slow means they can't do the speed limit, then you're wrong. They can do the speed limit and they can get there rather quickly. I said, Harleys are not fast as far as your sport bikes or other bikes that you shouldn't compare them to are fast, but they're quick. They will get off the line and they will pull like a locomotive. I mean, and think about what Harleys are designed for, bro. You have, sometimes a 250 pound, 300 pound man, sometimes a 180 to 230 pound woman on the back, saddlebags and a trunk fully loaded, plus other gear strapped on to the racks, and sometimes a trailer pulling that. You ain't doing that on most Kawasaki or most Japanese bikes, except for maybe the Honda Goldwing. Harleys are meant as luxury. Most Harleys, the Harleys that sell the most are luxury touring machines. They're not meant to be diving hard in the corners. Not that we have any out here in Kansas anyway. We do have some. I'm just joking. But, they're designed for specific people and a specific purpose. And so when you say they're slow, you don't really know what you're talking about because you're comparing them to the wrong bikes. Now, are they slow compared to an Indian? Sure, I would give you that. Indian is the liquid cool. Well, not all of them, but Indian has done things with their engines that Harley really can't do with theirs without completely changing the Harley makeup, and so Indian is able to pull bigger power. But Harleys are slow without a lot of help. But with even stock, they're quick. They will get you to the speed limit in a respectable amount of time. And honestly, if you're looking to go triple digits, then don't even talk to me. If you're just looking to break the law, to break the speed limit laws, and be a hazard to other people on the road, then I don't want to talk to you anyway. That doesn't mean there isn't an occasion where that's necessary, but if that's your normal modus operandi, if that's your normal way of riding, and not the occasion where you absolutely need to get out of harm's way, then, a Harley's not for you, and you should have a bike that you take on the track. Simple as that. Anyway, that being said, the sense of community amongst the people that were there were absolutely amazing. And I was into it. I absolutely enjoyed talking to these people. Is that sense of community the reason why Harleys are more expensive than, say, the Kawasaki? I mean, I don't know, maybe. And look at this road, it is garbage. Where am I? Okay, then. No, I mean, when you buy a Harley from the factory, or not the factory, but the dealership, you're automatically entered into a riding community called the Harley Owners Group, or HOG. And so that's part of it. Kawasaki doesn't have anything like that. I mean, they have Team Green, but that's not necessarily the cruiser market at all. You walk into a Harley dealership and it's amazing. I walk into a Kawasaki dealership and it's kind of bland. It's not great. Kind of looks like they put bikes in the building that they had available to them. Ooh, dirt, lots of dirt. And you know, they just did what they could with what they had, right? Harley dealerships are specifically built for Harley dealers, for Harley motorcycles, and they shine. The way they got the lights in those dealerships, man, it is shiny. And I talked to another guy when I was inside the dealership. Not a salesman. The salesmen were cool. They weren't pushy at all. But you know, you drop hints and you let them know what you ride and that you're, you know, you nicely say that you're not interested in buying today, and then they drift away and leave you alone. And you just, but I started talking to another guy, and we were talking about the obvious horsepower differences, you know, between like the 88, the 92, the 103, the 107, and the 114, and now the 121. And they were just like, they were kind of like with me. That first gear on the Road Glide, on the new one, is nice. But as soon as you hit second gear and you crack that throttle, you feel that power. You feel it. You definitely feel it. And we had a nice little fun chat about that. You know, was any numbers exchanged, any names exchanged? No, didn't need to be. We were there for a common purpose, and we had this sense of community in the biking world. And so I think that was the biggest difference. Not a really good feel of community and connectiveness with the Kawasaki, but definitely a feeling of community and connectedness with the Harley, even though not everybody there was riding a Harley. That was the amazing standout thing to me, and I think that's really the thing that I just wanted to focus in on about this video. You know, things I wish Harley did differently. I wish that their instructions were better, were clearer, were more defined for people that might not be familiar with Harley. And I wish that their ride loop was a bit longer. Another half mile or mile would have been really nice. But with that being said, you know, again, I gotta emphasize that day was a very rushed and hurried kind of day because of the weather. So that might have affected things. Anyway, I think I'm going to end that video here. It's been an adventure and an interesting ride. And I just want to encourage you, if you get a chance to go to a demo day or a test ride day with Harley, go do it. It was fun. It really was. Plus they have food. Don't forget to buy yourself a Harley D shirt while you're at the dealership. I did. I bought one. It's my lounging around shirt. I love it. It's comfortable. I gotta say, Harley makes good clothes. Oh, I'm coming back into a town probably from the loop that I just made. If my internal directions aren't screwed up, probably Dorrance or Wilson is where I'm coming back into now. Anyways, I think that's all I'm going to do for this video. Take it easy, y'all.